we have created a new high-performance Mac for our professional users.
Yo, what's going on, design lifers? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy, and today I'm going to be going over the design of the Mac Pro. So obviously we all know that Apple is huge when it comes to design. I'm an industrial designer, and when I look at Apple products, I can tell that they just do something a little bit differently than everybody else. I'm always studying them to see what they do, and some of the things I don't really like, but I can always give it to Apple for them to make a product that's just very memorable. Even if you create the best, sleekest looking product, if it's not memorable and it's just not gonna stick in people's mind, is it really a successful product? This is gonna be one of the products that Apple's produced that I think is just extremely memorable. And this is gonna be the very top of the line computer. And you know, they kind of have to do that. This is the best of the best that Apple's produced. And as a curious industrial designer, I'm always looking to see what are other designers doing out there? What are other professional, experienced, best of the best designers are doing? I immediately look to Apple and I want to see what they are producing. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this Mac Pro. Immediately, right away, we can tell that this is a very different computer than any other manufacturer is making. Just boom, like who really uses material in this way? I've never seen another company or even another computer that uses bent metal chrome bar like this. It immediately reminds me of when I'm stepping into a fashion retailer and I'm seeing all the clothes that's being hung on this metal bar, this metal rack. That's just what it looks like. It just jumps immediately out to me that it's a fashion product in a way, or it's, some kind of a jewel or some kind of a statue. I don't know, it's just very hard to describe. It just doesn't look like that standard black box that you would typically expect when you look at a computer. Very memorable is this pattern. You can hate it or love it. I wasn't, quite sure how I felt about this pattern. At the end of the day, what I can give to Apple is that it's a very memorable pattern. A lot of people are calling it the cheese grater, which it does look like a cheese grater. And I'm a huge fan when companies are using patterns on their products because it just adds another layer of aesthetics when it comes to designing the look of a product. Companies can figure out the form of the product and the color and materials and the finish of the product, but adding the layer of patterning on the product gives this product something more artistic, something more pleasant to look at. This is going to be a very interesting pattern that I've never seen done before. It's not just a normal pattern. I would say this is like a three-dimensional pattern. If we really take a look at it, this is going to be a concave dome shape. It's actually a very deep and large concave dome shape. So Apple went very bold, and I think that's what adds to the memorableness. I don't even know if that's a word, just how large these concave dome shapes are. Many designers would make these concave dome shapes very small and very tight, but Apple just decided to enlarge the scale. And not only that, since the scale is so large, they were able to create these actual cutouts of this egg shape inside of it, and it just kind of adds a very organic feel to it. It's not very typical. It's not very computer, patterned out. There's 3 of them in more of these center concave domes. And if we take a look at the edge, there's only 2 of them compared to 3 of them in the more centered dome shapes. On the far corners, there's only 1, and this creates a very gradient type of feeling to me. But actually, guys, since I said earlier that this pattern here is 3-dimensional, it's 3D, these concave cutouts are actually very deep. From the front view, they look like this egg shape. But if we actually take a look at an image from an angle shot here, these egg-shaped cutouts are actually full-on circles. So the benefit of this 3-dimensional pattern is that in different angles that we look at this pattern, it's gonna give you a different look. I suffer from trypophobia, and I kind of get it from this pattern. If we take a look here with the cover removed, it just looks so clean. Like there's no extra parts. It looks like there's no extra space or extra fluff. Having the internals be all black like this with just all the different shades and all the different parts, and even the PCB board, the motherboard being black, it really adds to the overall minimal, simplistic look of the product. As we jump around taking a look at each side of this Mac Pro here, we've taken a look at the pattern side where all the air will flow through, cooling the Mac down. But here, this is going to be the top end of the Mac. This is going to be where I personally think is the user interface. This is going to be where most people are going to interact with this computer. It's going to be either grabbing those handles, grabbing that center handle lock there where you turn it, taking off the cover. You also have the power button and the USB inputs, which, what people are going to be plugging in hard drives and flash drives and things like that. So this is the end where people are going to be interfacing with it the most. And I really, really like this surface that Apple did here. It just looks so clean and so simple. The designers of Apple have really done a great job with adding enough negative space between each of the elements on this surface. Personally, for me, designing a surface like this steps a little bit away from industrial design and into graphics design, just because it's just a flat image and you're supposed to design this flat image. It's not 3D like what industrial designers are generally used to. So now we're taking a look at the side view of the Mac Pro here, and Apple has really dedicated this whole surface to their logo. So we saw the front end with all of the holes and the pattern, then we saw the user interface end, but this is the end where Apple is showing off that this is their computer. Personally, for me, I would have made this logo half of the size, but Apple is just like, nope. Many companies, they would just literally add rubber feet to the bottom of the box and call it a day and call it the bottom, but Apple just decided, let's have this chrome metal bar run up and over and all the way down through the computer, flattening out at the bottom, having the feet stick out, elevating the whole computer. When you just have metal bars, you got to figure out a way to attach everything, attach all these internals. And it's just so interesting how they were able to do it with this top plate here. They made it thick enough to where they're able to mount some screws on the side surface of it. And it's just such a unique way of doing things. Just take a look at this shot. This does not look like a computer to me. This part here with all of these lines, it reminds me of something I would see on a piano book, some kind of a musical instrument, some kind of a musical book. So this here is going to be the rear of the Mac, and I think that this is probably the most awkward view of the Mac. This cutout here, it's where you pretty much add the power and all of the ports, the HDMI, the USBs. I just think that this view here is probably the worst view angle out of the Mac Pro. I think that this pattern here, when it butts up onto this rectangular shape, I don't know, it just looks like it was slapped on, or there's no blend between the pattern and the square. And so I would personally maybe add some type of a border around it, maybe some kind of a surface transition between the pattern and the square, but to me it just looks a little bit off and a little bit odd. All right guys, that is about it for me. I think Apple has done a really great job with the design of this current Mac Pro. It really brings it back to the roots, kind of a retro design of the first 2012 Mac Pro. And even though the trash can Mac Pro I personally thought was cool, people remembered it as the trash can Mac Pro. I think they just tried to go a little bit too small, which kind of sacrificed on usability of the product and perhaps the heat dispersion. But anyways guys, it's still a memorable product, and Apple just does the best when it comes to creating products that are very memorable. If you guys like this video and you want to see more, definitely hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to make more videos like this where I just look at products that I get really inspired by and I want to share my thoughts with you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any other thoughts that I perhaps missed. And also please hit that like button because it really helps me out, and share these videos with anybody that can also benefit from them. Could be a classmate, a friend, or a coworker. All right guys, my name is Jimmy and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.